Hey everyone, and welcome back. I'm Cher Therese, but you probably already know that. Before I get into this topic today, let me just ask y'all what y'all think about my new hair. I got it colored this weekend, and I was so scared that my hair was gonna fall out. But anyways, I think it looks fine. Let me know what y'all think in the comments too about my hair. All right, so I want to talk about the writing process. In my last video, I said that I was going to share with you all some of the tips that I have for writing. If you watched that video, if you've been following me on Instagram, then you know already that not this, I am writing my very first novel. I've written or tried to write a couple before and never could get to a place of finishing. For various reasons, not knowing what I was doing, not having a clear story thought out, documented, outlined, however people actually get their stories out. I'm telling you now, I haven't followed any of my own thoughts on outlining. I digress. I'm almost done. I'm almost done with my very first novel. So there were certain things, certain people that I followed on Instagram, indie authors, other writers, accounts that I followed on YouTube. And what I quickly realized when I first started writing this novel, Bali Blue, I learned that I have a story to tell. All of us do. But what I didn't know is how to do it technically. And what I mean by technically is everybody can write a story, but do you know about pacing? Do you know about character development, world building, all kinds of things, plotting? And I'm not saying that I know how to do it all well right now, but I, again, have been following a lot of indie authors and YouTube channels. And again, I'll list all of those or all the people, all the YouTube channels that I follow to help me understand what I need to understand technically for writing. Also, I joined our writers workshop. I'm so excited. I haven't started yet. I actually go to the very first meetup tonight. So I want to share about that as well to see if it's going to help me get over the finish line of editing and the indie publishing of this book, or my book, not just this book. But so this video right here is really me sharing with you the things that I had to learn, the processes I had to put in place, the tips I had to use in order to get to from beginning to the end of this novel. And so I want to share my writing process with you. Let me start by saying the first thing that I had to realize when I started writing this book, I cannot create in a dirty space. So the first tip that I'm going to give to you is make sure that you are in a clean, clutter-free space, not only for writing, but for anything. I had to learn this as a program manager for various clients that I work for, various consulting jobs that I've been on. I cannot create or provide you the best of me in a dirty space. So the first tip, clean your space. It allows for the free flow of energy and creativity. That's what it's all about when you're writing a novel. The second tip that I want to share is bring on the daydreaming. Allow yourself to dream big about your characters. What do they do? How would they do it? How do they sound? If y'all could be in my head, sometimes in my office as I'm talking as if I'm my characters, you probably think I was straight up crazy. But it's okay. You can think I'm crazy because guess what? I'm almost done with this novel. But anyways, daydreaming, going back to my childhood, actually creating worlds and stories in my own head. More on a smaller scale for my novel, creating scenes and different things that my characters were going through, one scene at a time. I still am daydreaming about that, still doing some editing based on the way my daydreams about my characters are changing as well. So daydreaming, let your free flow of creativity go through your mind as if you were a kid. Dream big. And then, dun, 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 tip number 3. Speak the scenes out loud. Again, this probably requires that you're in a safe space, not sitting in, a bookstore or wherever, maybe walking down the street. I don't know. Wherever you feel comfortable that you can actually speak your scenes out loud from the point of view of your characters. Y'all, if you could only imagine how many times throughout the day that my character, me, I become I become Kendrick. I become other people in the novel. Again, you'd think I had split personalities because I really have to get into their headspace. I do that by daydreaming, tip number 2, but then I bring it to life by speaking the scenes out loud. Now, I use a tool to do that. And honestly, everybody has this tool. You have a voice recorder on your cell phones. So on my cell phone, I have a Galaxy Note 10. I don't know if it's on all cell phones, but mine not only has the voice recorder, but it also has the speech to text functionality. So when I speak my scenes out loud in the point of view of my characters, whoever scene it is at the time, I'm actually recording it as I'm saying it, but my phone actually translates my speech to text, which makes the writing process so much easier, because once you finish recording, you can title it by scene, and then you can copy the text and put it straight into your manuscript. Now, this was a game changer for me, and I'm gonna go ahead and shout out Christina C. Jones. I still follow her YouTube channel, and she gave this tip, and I was like, when I was stuck on chapter 5, I used this tip and was able to knock out at least 3-4 chapters a day. Not fully editing, but at least getting them on paper, from my head onto the screen, if you will, by just speaking them out loud. So again, that's a game changer. So that takes me to the 4th tip that I want to share. Once you speak each scene out loud, you have to understand that technology is not always perfect. So when you use the speech to text feature, if you have a heavy Southern accent like I do, or any other colloquialisms that you may use, or any not well-known speech patterns or words that you may use that your phone may not be able to pick up on, you have to understand that it's going to do the best to pick up what you're saying, but it probably will render the wrong text. So you do have to do editing. So that's tip number 4. Make sure that when you speak those scenes out, that you do a full read through of the scenes to make sure that they make sense. And this is where that dialoguing is going to come into play, or understanding the technical part of dialoguing, making sure that you are blocking off appropriately what people are saying and how they're saying it. And then of course, putting the appropriate dialogue tags into the text, which doesn't translate very well in the speech software or the speech to text software. So you have to do a lot of that formatting manually. So a full read through, doing the editing, the formatting, all of those things that you need to do to make sure that scene actually goes into the story appropriately. So then step 5, and this is the final tip that I'll provide today. Beta readers, once you get your novel to a certain level of completion, I won't tell you what that level is. For you, if you're a beginning writer like myself, you may want to write 3 or 4 chapters and then bring on beta readers to read through those chapters to make sure that the pacing is right. Make sure that the scenes that you are setting make sense, that the plot is starting to come together and be developed fully, that your characters are fully developed. Who wants to read a novel or any type of book where the characters or the people that it's about don't seem real or authentic? So again, if you're a new writer like me, beta readers is a good thing for you. When I mean beta readers, again, I'm not just talking about your mama or your brother or your sister or anybody else you want to hand off your work to and say, hey, read this. Stop forcing your book on people that don't have official beta reader capabilities, okay? I used Fiverr. That's a tool that I used. I'm not sure if it's the best tool. Again, I'm a beginner, so I get the beginner's excuse for right now. Maybe that's not the right way to go. I don't know. But anyways, I was able to find some really good beta readers on Fiverr. And basically, they have started reading through my novel, like I said, and telling me where the pacing is kind of slow, where I need to pick things up, telling me where I have some superficial bits about my characters, like, yeah, nobody would really do this or say this, so let's fix it this way. And not only do they give me that kind of advice, but the beta readers that I found actually give you a written report of all the changes they would suggest that you make. Now, remember, these are just suggestions. This is your novel. You ultimately know the story that you're trying to tell. Again, take some of the information that the beta readers give you and fix things. Take some of it as maybe their personal opinion. You won't need all of the information, but it's always good to have different opinions. Not again, those opinions of just general readers, but someone who has a little bit more skill set that can give you feedback about the technical side of your manuscript or your novel. Now, with that, you want to get these beta readers and you want to make sure that your story is complete and that you're going to get to the end. Keep in mind that beta readers aren't necessarily the technical editors for your book, so you may need more editing even after the beta read. Again, they're going to help you realize where you have plot holes, or maybe your characters need to be fleshed out a little bit more. And guess what? If you all want to be a beta reader for Bali Blue, go ahead and click on the link tree again in my bio, or I'll post it below in the caption, so that if you want to be a beta reader, you can click on that link and register or sign up. Now, I do require that you fill out a form so that I can kind of get a sense for your style, what kind of books that you like, because you may not be a good fit. You may be the perfect fit, but you may not be a good fit for this novel. But do understand that beta readers, it's a two-way street. Not only am I getting something from you, but you actually get the first look at the novel itself. You also get to provide some input, and that feedback will, in most cases, get translated into the pages of this book. So if you're interested in something like that, then definitely fill out that form and register as a beta reader, not just for Bali Blue, but for a couple of other books that I have in the works too. And so those are my 5 tips. Just to go back and reiterate, excuse my rustling of paper because I did have to write these down, but here's a recap. First things first, you want to make sure that you have a clean space that's conducive for creativity. Don't stifle your flow by trying to create in junk. I can't do it. I'm sure you probably can't either. Tip number 2, daydream. Dream big and create the worlds, create these characters in your head, and then that should take us to tip 3. Tip 3 is make sure that you can actually speak these stories out loud from the point of view of your characters. All right. And then use that tool that I talked about, the speech to text or voice recorder speech to text functionality on your cell phone. There's other tools out there too, but use the one that's free. It's probably going to work for you. And then tip number 4, make sure that you read through each scene and then do light editing before you hand your manual or novel over to anybody else. Set it up appropriately. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure your scenes are formatted. Make sure that your dialogue is documented appropriately. So that's tip number 4. And finally, tip 5, once you're at a comfortable level of completion for your novel, get some beta readers. Sometimes beta readers will charge you. You may be able to find them for free. Either way, feedback is good. Just make sure you choose the right people with the right skill sets. You don't want to write a Black romance novel and then have someone who reads only sci-fi to be your beta reader. They may not know what you're trying to do as far as your characters or your worlds. They may not understand your plot the way you see and visualize that plot. So screen your beta readers. And again, if you want to be a beta reader for me, Cher Therese, for Bali Blue, or any of my future books that are coming, make sure you register at the link in my link tree. So look, it's been exciting talking to you all about this. Again, I'm excited about my hair. Don't forget to tell me what you think about this color, these colors in the comments, but even more so in the comments. I want you guys to let me know if these tips, do you think they're useful for you? Hopefully they are, but also let me know what other tips that you may be able to provide for other people who are reading through this as well or listening to this as well. So like, share, subscribe, follow, all those things if this information is useful. I'm Cher Therese, and thank you. See y'all later.